Welcome, dear viewers, to CouchWarrior TV on YouTube. I am the CouchWarrior, and you are watching Aranis Arcana, a Skyrim Let's Live.
The longer we travel the roads of Skyrim, the more empty this land seems. Take a look.
What have you got for sale? I am still in the process of liquidating stuff, offloading things. So let's turn some gems into cash. Carrying around lots of gems right now. I do like the gems because they're worth a lot and they weigh very little. However, septims weigh nothing. So, hell. Couple rubies. Wow. I think that's about all I can sell him. He's going to run out of money. Yeah. All right.
May your road lead you to warm sands.
Brothers and sisters, do you see who I see? Oh, I think you do. Chopping wood over there, that is Mandrew Joe.
Wares and weapons. All for
Mandrew Joe, if you remember, is one of the contract killings that we acquired from the Nazir in the last episode. Fleet was planning to actually leave Whiterun at this point, but it may be to our advantage to actually stick around long enough to take care of Mandrew Joe. The issue with him, of course, is because he's part of a Khajiit caravan, he is difficult to track down. Here's our dog. Hey, dog. No horses have arrived back yet. Hoping to see horses soon. Don't see anything. So we are using a mod here for actually herding our horses. We purchased some herding equipment. We planted a flag here. We purchased a guard dog. And all of our horses, once they're dismissed, are to return to this flag where they will be guarded by this faithful hound until we are prepared to ride them or move our herd to a new location. I imagine over time all the horses that we have acquired up to this point will show up there. At this point, I believe there should be 3 horses. The original horse that we purchased in Windhelm so many episodes ago. The bay, I think it's called a bay, that we found wandering the Reach in the last episode. He was unclaimed, so once we rode that horse, we had essentially claimed him as our own. Plus, we now have Shadowmere, of course. That gives us 3 horses total. If I were to assemble all the horses, I should see 3 gathered at that flag. So I'm just going to wait and see how that all works out. So for now, we're going to go back into Windhelm, and we're going to wait it out a little bit. We're going to wait until sundown, and we are going to try to take out Mandrew Joe while he is here. Otherwise, he's going to head off to some other place, and we're going to have to track him down. If he is here, I want to try to take advantage of this. Now, the other great thing, of course, is that one of our other contract killings is actually right here in Whiterun. It is Enoriath, I believe is his name. And he runs that meat market right there, here in the marketplace. So my thought is, let's go to the Bannered Mare. We will have a drink, we'll relax, we'll rest a little bit. We'll wait until sundown, and then we will make our move. We will try to eliminate Enoriath on our way out of town, and then take care of Mandrew Joe outside the gates, and then head back up to the Eagle's Nest. Well, welcome back to the story, dear viewers. As you can probably tell, I am still tweaking my production a little bit here for Act 3. I changed up the way that I'm actually integrating the intro into the videos here, rather than bringing it in as kind of as its own video file. I'm actually pulling all the footage into this video before I render it. Basically what that means is I think it's going to get me a little bit better sound quality, a little bit better normalization on the sound. I felt like the music was just a little bit too soft the first time around. In addition to that, it lets me run the music out over the intro footage as we begin the episode, which I think is kind of nice. So I'm going to continue to do that. There's an extra minute or so of actual theme song that you get to hear when I do it this way. So I like the qualities of that, I think, a little bit more. Plus, it's going to allow me to sort of monitor the overall sound quality. So that is the plan.
If it's work you need, how about chopping up some wood for the fires?
I don't think I'm going to chop any wood today. All right. Let's go see what's up. We got to be close to the end of the working day here. Is he at his stall? No, he's not. Did we miss him? Oh no, he's right there.
I've got a hungry daughter to feed, so selling my produce is really the only thing.
Alright, this is going to be tricky. We can't eliminate him in the middle of the street, and we cannot eliminate him inside the Drunken Huntsman because his brother is there all the time. His brother never sleeps. So we've got a tiny window of opportunity. If there's no guards around, we are going to eliminate him right on the steps of his own home, where we're off the street in the shadow of his house, and then we will duck around the side of his house for cover. Let us go to our Tanto dagger solely in the right hand. And let's make this work. This is a bit more impulsive than I would normally do this sort of thing.
You're making me nervous. Is this some...
Oh, yeah. Alright, it's done. Now we're going to scoot around the side of the house. I don't believe that we were seen. Let's just hunker down here for a minute and listen. Now I checked forward and back before we performed that assassination. There were no guards in the street. There were no witnesses standing around that I could see. I took a little bit of a risk there, which is a bit unlike Fleet. However, what I will tell you is that some of you picked up on this in the last episode. Fleet has a newfound, or a new sense of confidence. Not that he wasn't confident before, but now he's got confidence that comes with purpose. He's always been a confident fighter, a confident assassin, archer, but he has a new degree of confidence now that comes with knowing what your goals are. And this is important because it's going to allow him to sort of take command of his life and his situation and actually start being more proactive and less reactive. I think part of that is the confidence that he is going to find in the way that he actually performs his job, which is to be an assassin primarily. And I think this idea that he is now the agent of chaos, he is coming into this phase where he is going to slowly transform into the personification of that chaos. And one of the ways in which chaos manifests itself is in randomness or impulsiveness. So I think he's still going to be a strategist. He's still going to be a planner. He's still going to be a disciplined killer. There are going to be times when he's going to see an opportunity and he's going to take it. Whereas in the past, he might have waited. He might have planned. He might have held off. Now he's not going to be that way quite so much. He's going to be willing to take risk to get what he wants. But I think that's going to be kind of a gradual transition. All right. Now Mandrew Joe is on a camp just on the other side of this wall. I believe that given his close proximity to the other Khajiits in the camp and the relatively limited number of locations to hide, we're going to get close enough just to identify him and make sure he's still here, but we're going to take him with a bow and we're going to do it from long range so that we can take the shot, eliminate the target, and move on quickly before we're discovered. So in this case, we're not going to be reliant on hiding or sneaking. We're going to be reliant on long range in order to keep us out of trouble. All right, where is he? Okay, I think that's him right by the fire there. Okay, let's head back down here. Excuse me. Clear my throat a little bit. It is a lovely Saturday afternoon. I hope that you all are having a great day. I am having a great day. I'm recording a Skyrim Let's Live for you. Having a great time. Drinking a little gin and tonic. I love that. Okay, here we go. Now, we kind of have him silhouetted by the campfire. There he is. This is pretty long range, so we're going to compensate for range. Done. All right. We got the confirmation of the kill. Now let's move on. Right, so the plan is here, we get out to the road. We're going to come up the road, and we're going to kind of be casual about this, right? I can observe from the distance here whether or not there's a hornet's nest or something crazy going on there. I don't see lots of guards running around. I don't see lots of swords drawn. So I think we may be good on this one. Nobody on our tail. And very quickly, 2 out of the 3 contracts we had for Nazir have been carried out. This is quite excellent, I would say. We can always use the money, of course. So, nothing wrong with that, certainly. All right, well, with that successfully performed, take another glance at the flag. No horses yet. It's just my dog. We're going to head back to the Eagle's Nest. Fleet needs to talk to his people. It's time to set some wheels in motion. So we are back to the Eagle's Nest to do just that very thing. Miravel's journal. I admit I was nervous when Wizard Ancano summoned Tish and I to Skyrim. Last time I saw him, he insisted that one day he would call in the favor we owed him. I just didn't think it would be this soon. One can never trust the Thalmor to tell you any story in its entirety, but the promises of gold were impressive, and I needed to get my sister out of Valenwood for a while. Ever since her outburst, we have not exactly been welcome in Arenthia. Perhaps all will blow over, given time. He wants us to hunt down a man he calls Cimmerian, but apparently that is not his real name. In fact, they seem to have no idea what his real name is, what he looks like, or even where he lives. I have never been asked to hunt a man with so little to go on. What he was able to provide was a brief history of their encounters thus far and a map marking all the locations that he has been seen in the last few wakes. It's not much, but it's a start. Ancano leaves for Winterhold at first light. We will rest here for the night and do the same. This Cimmerian seems to enjoy killing Thalmor. There have been killings in Haffinger, Whiterun, and Falkreath holds thus far. Perhaps we should simply follow the Thalmor around. I'm sure he'll show up eventually. Nefe's Journal. Cimmerian arrived home late last night. He strode into the great hall filled with purpose, and there was an air of command about him that I've not seen before. Valfar was getting ready to tear into him for vanishing, but he must have seen it too, as he cut himself short before finishing his admonishments. He gathered us in the great hall, as he often does, and informed us that he had important tasks for us to perform that we would be splitting up. According to his sources, there was a force of Thalmor soldiers to the southeast. Apparently, they had closed the borders between Falkreath and the frontiers of Cyrodiil. Valfar was to scout the area and report back his findings as well as a battle plan. He handed me a strange book entitled Boethia's Proving. He said he had taken it off the body of a crazed Dunmer who had attacked him in Wayward Pass. He wanted me to consult with my contacts in Windhelm to see if I could locate the cult's gathering place. He urged me not to read the book, but to show it to my Dunmer friends at the Corner Club. Lydia and I were to scout the location without getting too close and report back to the Eagle's Nest. I'm not sure what he has in mind, but I get the distinct impression that we are about to take decisive action on many fronts. It's about time. And we are back, dear viewers. At this point, we are following the exploits of Nefe once again. We haven't done this in quite some time. With Nefe as well is Lydia. So we will be following these ladies for a little bit here. In addition to that, we have Valfar heading south. We've got Lydia and Nefe heading north. And we've got Fleet heading east. So you may have noticed that I started to do some cutscenes that feature a map, a little music, and some sort of video kind of cue when we're cutting from one story to another or when we're cutting from one location to another. I'm kind of using this as a way to sort of carry on multiple entries in the story at one time. We have, not only do we have our team here that we're following their exploits separately, as well as Fleet's, but you may have noticed as well from the other feature I did there that we are periodically going to be following the separate exploits of some of our antagonists as well. So the story can get complicated, but I figured that this cue might be enough to sort of keep it all straight for us, keep track of where we are, who we're following at any given time, and so forth. And it allows me to structure the story in a more interesting way. I think more in keeping with how you might consume a novel, for example, where we cut from one group to another, from chapter to chapter. We're telling multiple stories at once, all of which come together at certain points to either resolve plot lines or start new plot lines. So I'm introducing a few things. You'll notice a few things in the coming episodes that are really just tools that I can inject into the story that will help you all keep track of who we're following and what we're doing. Plus, this is a great opportunity for us to sort of see Nefei in action a little bit, which is super fun. Now, what I can do here is obviously going to be limited quite a bit by the tools I have at my disposal. In order for me to do this, I'm using a mod called Alternate Actors. While it does allow me to do this sort of dramatic footage where we can follow Nefei, presumably we can follow Lydia, it is quite buggy, and I'm not going to say that that is the fault of Alternate Actors. I think it could be any number of things, including a combination of mods I'm running or how certain NPCs are crafted. I have not encountered any difficulty in following Nefei in this way, but it is impossible for me to follow Valfar in this way. So, anytime I use alternate actors, it adds a significant amount of time to my production process, and it's kind of one of those things that I have to get psyched up for because I know there's going to be difficulties, so I have to carefully prepare myself for getting the footage I need to continue the story. So, well, I think you all realize that I strive to not use any foul language during my during my actual Let's Live series. You can certainly bet that I am going to make up for it during production. So I don't record any audio during those production times when I'm going off. So I'm sparing you that pain. All right, so we've got a troll up here. Look at that. Lydia's going to go after him. Wow, that's terrible. So one thing I notice here is that for some reason in this instance, I'm not getting a crosshair for Nefei, so I think we're gonna switch. It's not as effective from horseback, but we'll go to the dagger and see if we can get a lick in. Ooh, that was a good cut. That was actually a big visible cut across that troll's back from that dagger. So the ladies, they've been tasked by Fleet with this objective of investigating Boethius Proving. They're going to take this book and they are going to head up to Windhelm, where Nefei has a number of contacts, and they are going to try to figure out where this cult is located, what they're up to. Their objective is to really scout out the location and report back to Fleet so he can take some sort of action. So for Nefei and Lydia, this is really kind of a surveillance mission. Now, Nefei, of course, she already has a reputation as being very good at gathering intelligence, and Lydia, of course, she's along for her firepower. So Nefei has kind of turned into the intelligence gatherer or the spy of the group. I think she's very well suited to that role. You also notice that Nefei is now sporting a full set of Unholy Black Sacrament gear. The Unholy Black Sacrament gear is really the gear in that mod that I actually like. That doesn't seem like it's too over the top. Here at the top of the stairs, let's take her cloak off so we can get a good look. Cloak. I've given her that Cloak of the Crow that Fleet used to use. Very nice. Okay, we are back at the Eagle's Nest. The rest of the team has already left very early in the morning. Fleet is the last one here. He'll be the last one to leave. He, of course, was traveling most of yesterday and late into the night, so he has taken the opportunity to catch a little rest. And now he is going to head out, and of course we are heading east. Our objective is to get to Riften, and we are going to attempt to re-establish a connection with Carlia and Brynjolf, and advance this quest line to pursue Mercer Frey. That is going to require that we enter into an arrangement with the Daedric Prince Nocturnal, and this will be Fleet's first test. His first test after really acquiring the Heart of Smoke from Sithis. We're going to see if this really works. Although, it's debatable whether or not we'll know it does. Who knows? Maybe someday he'll die and he'll pass into the afterlife and a whole bunch of people will be pissed at him. We'll see. You never know. So we don't really know how this is going to manifest itself yet. But in Fleet's mind, he is confident that he has the blessing of his god to move forward, that there won't be any repercussions with Sithis for doing what he is about to do. However, we do not know what the repercussions will be among the Daedric princes for doing this sort of thing. They are notoriously fickle, dangerous, vindictive, so it's anybody's guess. But for now, we have quite a bit of travel time ahead of us. So I think what we're going to do is go by way of the road and then the mountain trails up through Iverstad. That is a great shortcut. So we'll head up through Iverstad. And then from there, we'll take the roads across the rift. That should get us there in pretty good time, I would think. You may have noticed also during the last sequence with Nefei that Nefei, Lydia, and Valfar all traveled down to our herding flag there near Whiterun, and that all the horses were now present there. So it looks like things are working. I think that Shadowmere is up here because that's where I dismounted. I'm not exactly sure. We're still working the kinks out of this whole thing. But I like to think of this idea that Fleet is completely immersed right now in the importance of all the things that he's got to do, but that he has these long-term dreams of a quiet retirement, either as a hunter or, a rancher or something like that. There is a side to this character that, well, he is a ruthless and efficient killer. There is a side to him that is sort of quiet and contemplative and private. And it seems to me that if and when he ever does have the opportunity to step beyond his responsibilities as Dragonborn or as Cimmerian, that he would look for something sort of quiet, maybe something spiritual and solitary to do with his life. So, who knows? I speculate on that every once in a while. There's also the chance, too, that he could just die in the process of all this and go down in a huge blaze of glory, but we don't really know. Okay, got a wolf up there. Let's try to pick him from horseback. I do have a crosshair now. A little below. We're going to aim. Done. Quite efficient. And there's our pelt. Now, I'm not going to go to great pains to engage with every single enemy or varmint that we run into along the trail here. We really need to get to Riften, and we need to do it fast. Remember, we set a timetable for ourselves. We told Carlia that we were going to be there in 3 days' time. Scavenger. I hate those scavengers. They're tougher than they look. I have been messed up many a time by those scavengers. So I didn't kill him, but it felt good to knock him on his ass. So, one of the things that I thought would be helpful to address, and a question that I get every so often, is what is the hardware I'm running here to make this all work? I'm trying to strike a balance between good hardware for running the game and good hardware for doing the video production work that I want to do in the way that I want to do it.
You picked a bad time to get lost.
Oh yeah, we're just going to ride this out. I'll be back for you jokers later. So I'm running a MacBook Pro, and it's a fairly new MacBook Pro, like probably purchased within the last 6 months or so. The MacBook Pro, the arrival of the MacBook Pro coincides with my transition from Xbox to PC, so I don't know how long that was ago. Maybe not that long. Maybe 4 months ago, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, I am running a MacBook Pro. I am running Boot Camp on this so that I can run Windows 7. So I'm running this on a 64-bit version of Windows 7. It has an Intel i7. It's 2.7 gigahertz. I believe, however, that it's been overclocked, and it's something like 3.4, technically. 16 gigs of memory, and then there's an NVIDIA GT 650M. That's GDDR5, 4 gigs of video memory. It's a pretty good machine for running Skyrim overall. In particular, if I were just playing the game. However, I do see, drops in frame rate when I'm recording that are just unavoidable. So I do not run my game on ultra settings. I run my game on mostly high settings, but not entirely. There are a couple of things that I dial down just to try to keep my frame rates up. And there are times when I've kind of shut the game down, I've shut the system down for a while and gone back and re-recorded segments because I felt like I wasn't getting the sorts of frame rates that I really needed to make good video. So it's not always perfect, and the thing gets pretty hot. A lot of times when I'm actually playing and I'm recording, I'm using an external keyboard and mouse. I do use a Razer gaming mouse and an aluminum mouse pad to try to reduce, any weird stuff in the footage associated with dragging the mouse along. There are some bits of footage too, like if I'm just recording stock footage and I need really smooth movement, that I'll plug in a controller, and I'll use a controller to record a segment or something like that. But when I'm playing, I'm actually gaming, I'm using the mouse. So here we are taking our shortcut here. Now this shortcut is going to take us to a river crossing. I guess we can cross here too. Anywhere where there's lots of rocks like this, I think is fairly safe for crossing, so we'll do here. Come on back up. Now I know we have a troll up here. He likes to hang out alongside the path. There is a route to go up and around him. Who's this? It's just a courier.
Important deliveries to make. No time for chatting.
Okay. So we're going to go take this troll out. Again, providing a service to the Jarl. Keeping the Imperial roads passable. Getting rid of the vermin. He's there somewhere. Let's go check it out. I'm going to hop up on these rocks here. See if I can get a better look.
Lost.
Oh, he's there. Oh, I might be able to squeeze a shot right along the edge of this rock face here. Let's try it. Oh yeah, we connected. One more. Oh, a little short. He's actually down. He's kneeling. A little higher. All right. Another road made passable. Courtesy of Fleet Featherstone. Okay. Off we go. I think I'm going to grab this Nern root. Seems foolish to pass it by. Grab that sucker. Maybe this hide, too. Maybe just one more thing. I'm not going to bother to take venison from a creature that's been gnawed on by a troll. Plus I got plenty of food. Up to Iverstad we go. Then, of course, straight through Iverstad, out the other side, and we can follow the roads to Riften from there. We're back on the main roads now. And I am going to the sword here just in case. I'm so accustomed to running into trouble on this section of road. But we are in a hurry, so if I can, I'm just going to mow everything down. Kind of keep going here. We have to get all the way to Nightingale Hall, which is kind of a long way. And then hopefully... Oh, here we go. Leave those guys behind. Then once we get there, Fleet's goal really is to try to convince Carlia, if she needs to be convinced, that he's still the right man for the job here. And so at this point, we really don't know what we're going to get. To be quite honest, it's possible that they could be really pissed and maybe try to kill him or something like that. Who knows? He doesn't really know what to expect, but he's going to go expecting the worst. Neither one of these characters are people that Fleet knows particularly well. Brynjolf probably much more than Carlia, but he's seen what each is capable of course. And he has really no idea how they will react to his simply walking away from something that was obviously very important to them, and quite likely postponing their ability to get their revenge on Mercer Frey for weeks. We got spiders. Alright, we've got a bard here too. He obviously sees the spiders. We're going to help him out. We'll help out with the spiders. Where is he? There we go. Okay, there we go. Oop, there's another one. Okay, so 2 full-on charges is enough to take one of those spiders. So you got it handled? Alright, 2 spiders. He is an angry bard, my friends. Very angry. So we're going to leave him to his rage. This is probably my favorite part of Skyrim to just travel in because of all the beautiful trees and the scenery. So let's enjoy it.
Okay, lass. We've got these get-ups on. Now what?
Beyond this gate is the first step in becoming a Nightingale.
Whoa there, lass. I appreciate the armor, but becoming a Nightingale? That was never discussed.
To hold any hope of defeating Mercer. We must have Nocturnal at our backs. If she's to accept you as one of her own, an arrangement must be struck.
What sort of arrangement? I need to know the terms.
The terms are quite simple, Brynjolf. Nocturnal will allow you to become a Nightingale and use your abilities for whatever you wish. And in return, both in life and in death, you must serve as a guardian of the Twilight Sepulchre.
Aye, there's always a catch. But at this point, I suppose there isn't much to lose. If it means the end of Mercer Frey, you can count me in.
What about you? Are you ready to transact the oath with Nocturnal? Good. After I open the gate, please stand on the western circle.
Time's wasted, and Mercer's still up.
I call upon you, Lady Nocturnal, Queen of Murk, and Empress of Shadow. Hear my voice.
Ah, Carlia. I was wondering when I'd hear from you again. Lose something, did we?
My lady, I've come before you to throw myself upon your mercy and to accept responsibility for my failure.
You're already mine, Carlia. Your terms were struck long ago. What could you possibly offer me now?
I have two others that wish to transact the oath, to serve you both in life and in death.
You surprise me, Carlia. This offer is definitely weighted in my favor.
My appetite for Mercer's demise exceeds my craving for wealth and grace.
Revenge. How interesting. Very well. The conditions are acceptable. You may proceed.
Lady Nocturnal, we accept your terms. We dedicate ourselves to you as both your avengers and your sentinels. We will honor our agreement in this life and the next until your conditions have been met.
Very well. I name your initiates Nightingale, and I restore your status to the same, Carlisle. And in the future, I'd suggest you refrain from disappointing me again.
The deed is done.
Now that you've transacted the oath, it's time to reveal the final piece of the puzzle to you. Mercer's true crime.
He's done more?
Mercer was able to unlock the Guild's vault without 2 keys because of what he stole from the Twilight Sepulchre. The skeleton key. By doing this, he's compromised our ties to Nocturnal, and in essence, caused our luck to run dry.
So the key unlocks any door.
Well, yes. But the key isn't only restricted to physical barriers. All of us possess untapped abilities. The potential to wield great power securely sealed within our minds. Once you realize the key can access these traits, potential becomes limitless.
Sounds like no one should possess it. I think that's what we're going to go with here.
Then you understand why this is about more than just Mercer's lust for power. If the key isn't returned to its lock in the Twilight Sepulchre, things will never be the same for the Guild. As time passed, our luck would diminish to the point of non-existence, and whether you know it or not, our uncanny luck defines our trade.
First time I ever set out to return something.
Very true. In our line of work, it's quite rare we set out to return a stolen item to its rightful owner.
Let's go.
Before we depart, Brynjolf has some business to discuss. I suggest you listen to him.
Listen, lad. There's one last piece of business we need to settle before we go after Mercer. The leadership of the guild.
Why tell this to me?
Carlia and I had a long discussion before you arrived here. Thanks to your efforts, Mercer's treachery has been exposed. After we deal with him, all that remains is restoring the guild to its full strength. As a result, we both feel that you have the potential of replacing Mercer as leader of the Thieves Guild.
Me? What about you?
I've been at this game a long time, my friend. A long time. I've stolen trinkets from nobles and framed priests for murder. I'm good at what I do, maybe even one of the best, but it's all I know. I've never been one to lead. Never desired it, never cared for it. Don't want it.
It's about time you asked. Let's go the arrogant route on this.
Ha! Spoken like the leader of the Thieves Guild. Just don't lose yourself in the role. We have a bit of an errand to run before your coronation.
I accept.
Then it's decided. When this is all over and Delvin's contacts assure me that we've regained our footing in Skyrim, we'll handle the details. Until then, we have quite the task ahead.
Then let's get to
I've been
it.
poring over the plans you brought us, and I'm convinced the eyes of the Falmer are in the Dwarven ruins at Erkenthand. Carlia and I will meet you there. Prepare yourself, lad. This will be a fight to remember.
There you have it, my friends.
Until next we meet, lad.
We are officially a minion of Nocturnal, and our path is set out before us. One surprising event, of course, is this idea of becoming leader of the Thieves Guild. That plays right into our hands and into our strategy when we consider how this all began, the pursuit of Linway, who himself is a Thieves Guild leader. And that, dear viewers, brings us to the end of another episode. I want to thank you for taking the journey with me, and until next time, may all that you do be swift, quiet, and deadly. And to all Skyrim assassins, I salute you. Silence is our battle cry.